This afternoon show, and let's go to Bobby in Philly. He says hello. Robert, welcome. How are you today, pal? What do you have?
I'm doing good, doggy. How you doing?
Fine, Bob. Thank you. Foles, tell the Eagle fans not to boo at the end of the half like they did in the Raider game on Christmas night. My God almighty. Go ahead.
All right. A couple quick points. First of all, I'm driving from Philly to Tampa, and you're making these 3 hours a lot easier. I appreciate it.
All right, very good. That's item number one, not number two. Shoot.
All right. Last 5 weeks of the season, Eagles 3 road games, coming off of 3 road games. They find a way to win the game. They come back to clinch the division. They throw away a game to Dallas. Everybody is using emotion here, doggy. I think they're a good team. They lost 2 games at Seattle and at Kansas City when they were hot.
Yeah, the Dallas game doesn't count, but would you be a little worried, a la the Rams, that the Eagles could have lost a little mojo the last couple of weeks of the season by obviously not playing anybody week 17 against the Cowboys?
They have veterans on defense, and they have veterans at skill positions other than quarterback. So I don't think so. The Rams are a very young team. And, you have Malcolm Jenkins there. You have Fletcher Cox. You have some veterans that are leading that locker room. A year and a half ago, we were saying Carson Wentz is coming from a small school, and we don't know how good he is. Now he gets hurt, and the whole season is gone. So that's just a little insight there.
I get it.
Games.
Everybody is going to write the Eagles off this week. Geez, already that they're they're underdogs at home. They're the first the team to be an underdog at home in a divisional round in like eons. Do you know that? Now it's extenuating circumstances, but very tricky game, that Atlanta game. I think the world's going to think Atlanta, but boy, it's enticing to take the Eagles at home with getting points. Here's Sean in Queens says hello. Sean, your turn. How are you today, pal? Okay.
Yeah, dog, I'm good. How are you?
Fine, Sean. Nice to have you aboard. Your Islanders won a big game yesterday. Keep them moving and come back against the Devils. They've been awful. Let me hear. Fire away.
They're an awful franchise. I will discuss them with you next month. Dog, the games. I'll start with Kansas City. I mean, at 14-0, I thought that game was over. I mean, it just didn't look like that was going to be any game whatsoever. It's a terrible loss. I mean, I think the best word I would use to describe the Chiefs as a franchise or as a team is stale. They're just stale with the quarterback and with Andy Reid. And I was thinking this while I'm on hold. You would expect that franchise to have much more of a home field advantage than it does. They never win big games in there.
Excellent point. I might take it 10 after 3. They need a facelift. Smith's contract is $20 million next year, so the thinking would be to cut him, save the $20 million, and let Mahomes be the quarterback. I'm sure there'd be some sort of dead cap. You'd have dead weight. You got to pick up. But yeah, the Chiefs, I don't think Hunt is going to fire. He's a pretty conservative guy. I'd be surprised if he fired Andy Reid. I'm not sure if and I wouldn't have a problem if he did. Reid never wins big games. He's just got that way about him right now that thinks something's gonna go wrong. But you hit it right in the head. Kansas City's a stale team. You're right on with that. Right on.
I'm part of the group of people that thinks the Falcons could get on a roll here. At the very least, that they're going to win on. I don't know when the game is, Saturday or Sunday.
Saturday afternoon, 4:30. First game Saturday.
I think the Eagles are in a little bit of trouble. I don't like the way they finished the last 2 games. Now they're sitting for a week. The Falcons, although they didn't really do much on offense, but their defense, played a big game, and I think the Eagles are in a little bit of trouble.
The thing you like about Atlanta right now is they got some balance. They got a pretty good defense, young, good secondary, and obviously they got Julio Jones, and they can run the ball. And I don't love Ryan, but he's okay. He's more than okay. He's pretty good. So they got a balanced team. A lot of these teams are not as balanced as you'd like. Obviously Jacksonville isn't, and Atlanta's got a little balance to them. So you keep that in mind. Go ahead. Continue.
And as far as the other games, dog, I haven't liked the way the Saints looked since that Thursday night game in Atlanta. They had a chance that night to basically bury the division and maybe even give themselves a shot at a bye. And they blew that game. They didn't look so dominant, in their last few games. I know the game meant nothing, but they blew the game in Tampa last week. yesterday all afternoon. I thought they let the Panthers hang around.
Well, Carolina played well. No, Carolina played well, Sean.
They did, but the Saints had opportunities to put that game away, and they didn't. Now I know Carolina's defense played well, but that's another thing. I don't like that the Saints running game was shut down. Like I said, I haven't liked the way they look. They let them hang around. I don't like at 31-19 they give up a 55-yard touchdown pass. They haven't been as crisp as they were, let's say, back when they blitzed the Bills. And
I agree with that.
Week that was 47.
That's
whatever.
A good point.
I think the games next week. I think from an NFC perspective, you're going to root for the Saints, because if you could ever get a Saint-Falcon NFC championship, that would be a hell of a game. But I do think that the Eagle game. I disagree with you about the Titans. You know what? Maybe they don't lose by 2 touchdowns. But I think a game like that, and I think the Jacksonville game, and probably the Eagle game, that they're going to be games where you never get a sense that the Eagles are going to win. You're never going to get a sense that the Titans are going to win the game, and you're never going to get a sense that Jacksonville is going to win the game. The games are basically going to be decided, even if they're not blowouts. And I'm concerned that these games this week are going to be pretty ho hum.
Well, again, I think the most intriguing, the best game is the Saints-Vikings. Although I never trust the Vikings completely. The Saints on the road. Keenan does make it a little interesting, as you never know. I like the Tennessee game. I think Tennessee's got a little spunk to them right now. They got off the mat. They were dead as a doornail on the road at 21-3. Speculation about their coach. Everything going wrong, and they figured out a way. Now, the Chiefs helped them, but they figured out a way to beat a team. That's not a great team, but they figured out a way to beat a team from that depth. You could tell how excited they were after the game. They were hugging Malarkey. They were going, they loved the block that he threw Mariota, which sprung a kid in the end around. I don't know. The Patriots do have some questions. The Belichick thing, Brady, and everything else. I know they never lose this game. The Patriots are like 9-1 in divisional play. The one loss was to the Jets, but I could see this game being interesting. Saturday night. The other one, no. Jacksonville. 9 in front of the hour. Continuing. Mad Dog Unleashed.
Mad Dog Unleashed.